What's up, everyone? It's Tech Trooper 64, and today this is not based off of an article. This is another opinion video of mine. So I would like to just talk about something that we all kind of misjudged a little bit when it was first revealed, and that's the PS4 Pro. So let's talk about the PS4 Pro for a little bit. So the PS4 Pro is the first time ever that a company that's winning the console generation so far up to this point, and that they're going to release an incremental upgrade. For people who don't know what that means, it's a console that is more powerful than the original console that launched originally in 2013. This is the first time that this is happening. The last time that this happened was when Sega released 3 add-ons that made their console more powerful for the Sega Genesis. And that was back in the late 90s. And that's kind of what made Sega plummet to the ground. After literally 2 years after releasing the Sega Genesis, or 3 years, I think, they released the Sega Saturn. And get this, they made a surprise release. What they did was, they didn't tell retailers. They didn't send retailers anything. They didn't tell retailers anything. You know what they did? They said, hey, everybody, here's the Sega Saturn. It'll be in stores. Not next week, not in a month, today. Even though retailers didn't even know about it. So then when retailers actually got Sega Saturns in store, they said, oh no, hell no. We don't have room on our store shelves. You have to tell us this in advance. And the Saturn only managed to sell 5 million units, I think. If I'm not wrong, I think it sold 8 million or something. Bottom line, it was low. And then they released the Dreamcast to compete against the PS2 and the Xbox and the GameCube, which by that time, the PS2 already got a market share of 78% against the Dreamcast. And that's what ultimately killed Sega. So that's what's making people very stressed about the PS4 Pro. Now, Microsoft reacted to the PS4 Pro, and they said, we're going to release an Xbox Scorpio that is more powerful. However, it's coming out next year. So right now, Sony has the advantage because they're releasing the PS4 Pro this year. Now, here's what I want to talk about the PS4 Pro. A lot of people are hating it because they're saying it's not a true 4K console. It's not powerful to handle 4K. That's true. It's not. When you look at the specs, it's not powerful enough to handle 4K. But here's my question. Here's something that a lot of people didn't really notice or didn't watch the conference at all to even verify. Sony, during their conference, never, ever said once that this is a console made for 4K. Here's how they described it, and I'm saying it word from word. They said, the PS4 Pro is for players who want a premium PS4 experience. If they want to play their games on a 4K or a 1080p display, they can play it, and their games will look a lot more nicer than they do on their normal PS4. They never said anything about this is a native 4K console. Now, here's why we jumped to that conclusion that it's a native 4K console. Because the first rumor that came out about the PS4 Pro back in February called it the PS4K. But notice that in that rumor, they said developers were jokingly calling it the PS4K. It wasn't the official name given by Sony. The official name given by Sony was the PS4.5. That was the name. It wasn't the PS4K. People jumped onto that, and now Microsoft is jumping onto that, and they're saying, oh, well, Sony wants to try to do 4K with this? Well, guess what? Haha, we can do it too, but we're doing it next year. So right now, we don't know anything about the Scorpio. All we know is that it's going to be a hell of a lot more powerful, it's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive, but it's going to give you a true 4K experience. But here's what's something that's worrying me. I read an article the other day that said, from Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, he said, Scorpio and Xbox One S isn't made for making money. This implies that Microsoft is going to lose money for every single Scorpio and Xbox One S they sell. And that doesn't surprise me because people hated the PS4 Pro for ditching the 4K Blu-ray drive. Like, did you know that? You can't play 4K Blu-rays on a PS4 Pro, but you can play it on an Xbox One S. So why did they ditch it? Sony's excuse is that this is a console that's made for gaming first and entertainment second. But let's be real here. They didn't include the 4K Blu-ray drive because they wanted to cut costs. They didn't want to spend more money to make the PS4 Pro, which, you know, in Canada, the PS4 Pro is going to cost $500 anyway. in the U.S. it costs $400, but and essentially they didn't want to sell it for $500 in the U.S. and $600 in Canada. That's essentially what they're trying to say. But I think that we should just shut up and wait until the PS4 Pro comes out. I'm going to get it on day one. I pre-ordered mine, actually. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to go with some friends to go pick it up. And I'm going to get Skyrim for the PS4 that day. I'm also going to pick up another game that runs in 4K on the PS4 Pro. Possibly NBA 2K17. I haven't decided. And I'm going to play it, and I'll give my verdict that day. Because you know what? I have faith in the PS4 Pro, a little bit at least. But I think all of you should stop saying that it's a 4K console. It's a 4K console. It's a premium PS4. That's what it is. That's what Sony called it. Let's call it that, and let the whole thing of PS4 Pro versus Scorpio behind. Let's let it die. This is Tech Trooper 64 signing off. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about what you think about my opinion. Be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more updates on PS4 Pro. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.